Let's say you're teaching your child to read at home, but something is just not clicking. You've been practicing letters and sounds over and over again, but they're not remembering them. Or maybe you're working on those tricky words, those high frequency words, sometimes called sight words, and they just are not getting it. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is happening? There's a disconnect between what I'm teaching my child at home and what they're remembering. That can be a super frustrating place to be. I know as a parent and a teacher that it can be really, really frustrating when you're teaching your child, you think you're doing all the right things, but it's not working. So today I want to share with you the 3 C's that I recommend anytime you come up to an obstacle like this with your child when you're teaching them how to read. Whether you're teaching them letter sounds or blending or high frequency words, or they're reading chapter books and they're having a hard time with comprehension. These 3 C's can be applied in any situation where your child is struggling. In case you don't know me, my name is Erin. I'm from littleselflearning.com. I'm a former classroom teacher turned parent reading coach. So my job now is to coach parents and to help them teach their kids to read at home. I want to make sure that parents have all the tools and feel empowered to teach their child correctly and effectively at home based on the science of reading. So let's dive into these 3 C's so we can see how exactly to help our child when they're struggling. The first C that I want you to remember is curiosity. I want you to approach this situation with curiosity instead of judgment. Instead of judging yourself, thinking you're not doing a good job of teaching your child, or judging your child that they're not remembering what's wrong with them, just approach the situation with curiosity. And you can do that by asking questions. So some great questions to start with. What are they struggling with? Don't just say reading, because reading is such a huge umbrella term. Are they struggling remembering letters and sounds? If so, which letters and sounds are they struggling with? And then you can ask, okay, they're struggling. Have we been consistent with practicing those letters and sounds? How have we been practicing them? Have we just been drilling flashcards over and over again, or have we been making it fun? You can dive deeper into those questions. If your child is having a hard time remembering the high frequency words, you can ask questions. Which high frequency words are they having a hard time remembering? Is it all of them that they need to know for their school? Maybe they have an amount that they need to know by the end of the year. Is it only some of them? Are the ones they're having a hard time remembering the tricky ones that don't follow the phonics patterns? If so, how could we help your child? How can we get them to remember those tricky ones in a way that is fun and engaging? This process of curiosity is just asking questions. There is no reason to go to judgment or blame or shame or any of those negative emotions, because this isn't a negative situation. It's just neutral. We're just asking questions. I wonder why this is happening. Let me get more details. Let me get the data, the information about what they're struggling with, and let me see if I can ask questions and go deeper and deeper with my questions to figure out why they're struggling. So start with curiosity. That's going to be the best place to start. The second C I want you to remember is consistency. So let's go back to curiosity, and you're asking these questions about why your child is struggling. Maybe one of the questions you ask is, have we been consistent with our practice? If the answer is no, that is a great place to start. Consistency is key when teaching your child to read. Whether you're working on letters and sounds, or you're working on blending, or you're working on reading more complex words, your child needs consistency and repetition. They need to be doing these skills over and over and over and over and over again, probably way more than you ever thought they needed. Some kids are going to pick up skills more quickly and they need less repetitions, but the majority of kids are going to need a lot of practice, and you need to give them that consistency piece. So I am a parent, I'm a mom of 2, and I know how busy we are. It is not always easy to stay consistent with what we want to be practicing at home. I totally get it. But if you are working with your child on the weekend for, let's say, 45 minutes, which you do not need to be doing that. But let's say one day you were gung-ho and you were like, we're going to work for 45 minutes on this lesson. We've got this. And then you don't do anything else for the rest of the week. That is not effective. It's more effective to work for 10 minutes a day, every day in that little pocket of time than to do one long lesson, one long chunk of time, and then not do anything for the rest of the week. So consistency is going to be huge. No matter what area your child is struggling with, they need consistent practice. So look at your schedule and see what you can realistically commit to. If you can't commit and be consistent, then maybe this is not the right time to teach your child how to read. That could be an option if your child is younger. If your child is older and they absolutely need to learn how to read, but you can't be consistent, maybe you need to look into outside tutoring. Maybe you need to look into getting support or help, because if you can't be consistent, then your child is not going to be successful with learning how to read. So that second C is consistency. Be honest with yourself. Have you been consistent? If you haven't, then start there, because that's probably why they're struggling. If you have been consistent and you're still seeing them struggle, that can be a red flag that something else is going on. So you really want to look at that consistency piece and get honest with yourself first. And the third C is creativity. So often parents get stuck in this loop of, we're going to practice reading letters and sounds, high frequency words, but we're going to do it with flashcards or in these really boring ways. And kids are like, I don't want to do that. They'd much rather go off and play, which is totally understandable. They are learning something new, and maybe it's a little bit challenging for them. And then to top it all off, it feels boring, so they're not going to want to do it. So this third C is creativity. This is the time that you want to get out your creative thinking cap and figure out, how can I help my child practice their reading skills in a fun and engaging way? What can we use? And this does not require any fancy supplies. You do not need to go out and spend money. Look what you already have around your house. Do you have some Play-Doh? Play-Doh is awesome for helping kids learn how to read. There's so many games you can play with Play-Doh. Do you have Post-it notes? Post-it notes are super easy to write letters and sounds or to write words and put them all over the house. Do a scavenger hunt. You can put them on the ground and have your child jump from letter to letter or sound to sound. Another supply you might have at your house are magnetiles. If you have magnetiles, you can actually write on them with dry erase markers. So then you can make reading practice so much more fun, because maybe they're building with the magnetiles or they're connecting them. Anything you have around your house that you can incorporate into reading practice, your child is going to love it. They are going to get so much more out of that because you're being creative, because you're engaging them, you're making it fun. Learning to read should be fun and joyful. It should be an experience that you and your child don't forget. It's memorable, especially for you, because you're connecting with your child in a new way and you are unlocking the world of literacy for them. So if you're getting stuck in this boring, repeated rotation of just flashcards or sit down with me and we're going to read and we're just going to sit here and not move. I mean, we know kids are fidgety and they want to get up and move. So let's work with them and with their strengths and with their interests instead of against them. So we're not making them sit still and not move around and play. We're not making them do these boring activities, because that could be the reason that your child is struggling as well. They're not interested because you're not making it fun and engaging. So that third C, creativity, is super important as well. I know it can feel overwhelming if your child is struggling with learning how to read, and you might think, I don't know where to start. So I created something new for you. It's the 5 steps to reading success. It is a free download. I'm going to leave the link down below. So you just fill out your information and I will send that right to you. And this freebie, I think, is so valuable because it really breaks down reading in the most basic way. Sometimes we can get caught up in all of the nuances of reading and all of the details. And I'm just wanting to give you a big overview picture of what reading is, because when we look at it that way, it's so simple. All reading is our speech written down. Humans have been speaking forever. We are naturally wired to speak. And all we decided to do, however long ago, was match those speech sounds to letters, put those letters together, and that becomes words that we can read and words that we can write. It's actually super simple once we break it down to that basic level. So now we know, okay, if that's what reading is, let's see how we can help our kids learn how to read based on knowing what reading is, based on that framework. So 5 easy steps to reading success, to helping your child learn how to read correctly and effectively. You are probably already doing some of these steps at home. I just wanted to break it down for you so that you could see the order and the importance of them. And also so you can see, what could you add into your practice? What could you add in consistently to help your child progress to the next level? That's what we're all about. Taking your child from where they are, celebrating where they are right in this moment, and moving them along the continuum, helping them to grow, giving them that just right challenge so that they can become strong, successful readers. So make sure you download that freebie. Again, the link is down below so that you can grab a copy for yourself. I hope this information has been helpful for you today, and I hope it gave you a new way to look at your child's reading struggles. If they are struggling, go back to those 3 C's. Start with curiosity, not judgment, not blame. We are not going to cause ourselves to feel more upset about the situation. We're going to go in neutral. We're just going to approach it with curiosity. I wonder why. What's happening? Let me dive deeper and figure out what's going on. So the curiosity piece is so important. And then 2, the consistency piece. Be honest with yourself. Look at your schedule and see, have you been consistent? And if not, how can you be consistent going forward? How can you rearrange things? This needs to be a priority. Teaching your child to read needs to be a priority. So what can be shifted to make sure that you're consistent with your practice? And then number 3, of course, creativity. That cannot be overstated. The importance of creativity and engaging our kids in a joyful practice of learning how to read. There are so many easy ways that you can do this. It might even seem unnecessary, like, oh, why am I going to put the Post-it notes around the house when I can just have my child read these flashcards? It'll be faster for me. It might be faster for you, but I guarantee it's not going to be as much fun for them. So if we can look through their eyes and think, would a 5-year-old think this is fun? Would a 7-year-old think this is fun? However old your child is, think through their eyes. Because if you can do that, if you can engage them in a really fun and playful way, it's going to stick in their brain so much faster, and it's going to be more joyful experience for both of you. If you have questions about this or anything else I share on my channel, don't hesitate to reach out. You can comment down below, or you can find me over on my website, littleslovelearning.com. I'm also active on social media, so make sure you find me on Instagram or Facebook at Littles Love Learning Blog. I'd love to hear from you and help support you on this journey of teaching your child to read. Until next time, happy learning. Bye.